Hi, welcome to Chappell Hill Lavender Farm. I'm Debbie McDowell, and Jim, my husband, and I own the farm. We bought this property in 1999, and it was all raw land, so all of this was just mostly pasture, and then you can see the areas where there are trees. And we started clearing it, and at the time we didn't know we were going to grow the lavender. But as we cleared the land and started building up here, we knew we wanted to do something with these pastures because it was such a beautiful piece of property and the landscapes are just gorgeous. So we started probably in 2003, I believe, is when we started doing our first plantings. And we would plant 600 plants each time we were planting, which is usually twice a year, until we got up to the 4,000 plants. And over time, I mean, we have added different varieties. We've also added fruit trees and berries. It's just more for people to come and see and do when they come out. They have fruit they can pick when that season comes in. And then, of course, we always allow people to come and cut the lavender when that's blooming. So it's been such a gorgeous piece of property, and we're just so pleased to be here. That just the serenity is just the very best. Okay, so we're out here in one of our lavender fields, and oftentimes we get questioned about, how did you get started with this? And it's kind of a funny story because my husband saw something on TV about people growing lavender, and we did some research and found that there were some lavender farms at that time. Now, this has been quite a few years ago, but they were up in the hill country here in Texas, and there were only 2 to 3 farms at that time. So we drove up there, we visited them, we got some plants and brought them back. We started out with about 20 plants, and over time they seemed to do very, very well. And from there we just started planting in groups of 600. So over time and within a couple of seasons, we had about 4,000 plants. And we grow about 3 different varieties. The varieties that you see right here are called Provence. They are the late summer bloomer, so they start blooming around the end of July and through August and September. These have gone even further because we've had some really nice weather, so they're still putting out some really pretty blooms. Most all of the lavender varieties that we grow are a typical lavender color. This is the Provence plant, and if you look, these blooms are just absolutely beautiful. The color is just so rich, and we do allow people to come out and cut when the lavender's blooming. I'd like to show you kind of how we cut it. We do find the blooms that have the most amount of color, and we cut kind of at the top of the plant. So you're going to have probably a few little leaves on the bottom of it. And the idea is not to cut deep into the plant, but just to cut at the top. We do let people come out, they cut bundles, and they can take these bundles home and they can dry them. They hang them upside down and dry them. And once they're dry, they can crumble these dried flowers off, and they make a wonderful, strong smell. The fragrance on these is excellent. It has a lot of camphor in it. And the camphor is what is so good for rest and relaxation and stress. And that's why lavender is so popular for healing and those types of things and those applications. But we love to have people come out to the farm and cut their bundles. We purposely leave them growing as long as they will and blooming so that they can come and cut. That's our main focus, is that people get to experience that. This variety is called sweet lavender, and you see it's nice and full, and this particular variety blooms earlier in the year. This one generally is blooming by May and into June, and sometimes it'll go even into July. The flower on this particular variety is a little bit longer and a little more segmented, but the color of it is very similar to the Provence as far as being a nice lavender color. The oil content on this variety is just like the others, very good for the rest and relaxation, stress. All of the varieties that we grow typically have a high camphor level in the oil, and that's what makes it so important for the aromatherapy products. Okay, now we are in another area of the field, and this variety is called Phenomenal. And this was a hybrid that was developed to withstand the the heat and the moisture and the rainfall that we get here in Texas. It does very well. In fact, the lifespan of these plants is far better than the Sweet or the Provence. And the blooming on this one's a little bit different. Instead of a single stem coming up, you see it actually almost comes up in a branch where you've got one stem, but then you've got 4 or 5 little branches off of it. Beautiful color again, kind of a deeper lavender color. And these are just a beautiful specimen plant. They, like the Provence, they also bloom later in the summer, so that's why you're still seeing them blooming now. They start blooming around July and August, and they'll go into the winter months or the fall months, as long as it's warm enough. But yeah, these just make a beautiful flower, and the branch itself is so pretty, and these are definitely hardier, and I would say the hardiest of all the varieties that we grow. Right now, I am mixing up a new batch of our skin therapy. This is a lotion, and it's an all-around healing lotion. And I'm going to show you the ingredients that go in it. We're going to start, obviously, with the lavender oil. The lavender oil is one of the most important ingredients because it's a natural antiseptic and it's very good for healing. So I'm going to measure that into my little beaker. Okay. The next item we're going to use is Comfrey oil. Comfrey also is amazing in the use of healing. It can be put on cuts and open wounds, and it regenerates cells. So it's very, very good for healing. So we do add a little bit of that to our mixture. The next thing we're going to add is tea tree. Tea tree is an antifungal oil or used for that application. It's very good for psoriasis and dry skin, eczema, and those types of things. I'm going to put a little bit of that in there. And then last but not least is our aloe gel. And of course, aloe is excellent for soothing inflammation and redness. So that's very, very important. So I'm going to add that in here, and we're going to be ready to move on in just a second. All right. Now this is all going to go into a lotion base, and this is a wonderful base because it soaks in, but it isn't oily or greasy. So that's one of the biggest problems that we have when we're dealing with lotions, is we want something to soak in and make the skin soft, but we don't want anything that's going to make the skin greasy or oily. It's almost like when you put something like that on, you can't wait to wash it off. But this is really good. It soaks in, penetrates very, very well. We're going to mix this up. You notice we don't put any coloring in it. There's no alcohol, there's no coloring, there's no dyes. Everything in here is just very natural as far as our botanical oils go. So we're going to finish that up, and then we will put it next into the bottle. Okay, now we're ready to add the lotion into our bottle. So I'm going to take that big bowl that we just whipped up, and I am putting it into this giant funnel. It's going to all go into the bottle. Once we get it all drained down into the bottle, I'll put the pump back on, and then I'll be ready to fill up the bottles. So we don't have anything high-tech here. It's pretty back to basics, but this is what we do. We get this oil, this lotion all down into the container, and then we'll be ready to make the next set of bottles of lotion. Okay, so now our lotion has all gone from the funnel down into our bottle, and I'm going to put the pump on it, and now we are ready to fill the bottles with our lotion. So I've got our cobalt blue bottle. Some people have asked me why we use the cobalt blue, and it protects the essential oils much better than a clear bottle would. So that's one of the main reasons. Anytime you see items that are made with either amber or cobalt blue, that's why. It's to help protect the lotion and keep it fresh. So here we go. And this is just, I have a good right arm right now from doing all this. And we do every one of these individually. So there's no mass production. It's all just done here with love. So anyway, I've got my lotion in. I've settled it in. We add the pump. Obviously, screw that in. Label it, and it's ready to go. This is what it looks like. This is our Skin Therapy Herbal Healing Lotion. We put the labels on. It's made fresh. All of our lotions are made fresh all the time. And It's just it makes us feel good that we can produce something that's helpful.
I'm Jack Cagle, and I have the privilege of serving you as the Commissioner of Harris County Precinct 4. And today I want to thank you for joining us on our Encore Excursions. This is our way of getting you, our friends, our folks that we seek to serve out and to be able to see the things that we used to be able to see together, but now safely and virtually. In the meantime, we hope to continue to bring other events and other excitement to you. Stay safe, stay well, and we hope to see you soon in person.